hard on the brakes, a little bit of squirming on the brakes, getting a little bit oversteering on the way in. So let's see how the GT3 compares. Trying to keep it clean on the exit, and across the line. There's few things more evocative than a V12 sports car, and they're becoming rarer and rarer. Fortunately, Aston Martin has stayed true to their heritage and still makes 12-cylinder sports cars, the most extreme of which is this car, the V12 Vantage. Now fitted with a Sportshift gearbox and adaptive damping for the first time, the engine's been retuned as well, and it's the fastest production car they make. But how will it fare against arguably the most focused track-based sports car money can buy, Porsche's 911 GT3? Well, to find out, we've bought the new 991 GT3 to take on the brutish British Aston Martin in an Auto Express track battle. Now into its third generation, ever since its launch in 1999, the GT3 has been the benchmark for handling precision. The new 991 generation has 469 brake horsepower and 440 Newton meters of torque from its 3.8 litre flat-six engine. And for the first time, it comes equipped with a PDK dual-clutch gearbox. The Aston Martin V12 Vantage S squeezes Aston's biggest engine into their smallest and most focused sports car. With 565 brake horsepower and 620 Newton meters of torque, the V12 produces more power than the Porsche, but the Aston weighs 235 kilograms more than the lightweight 911. And for the first time, the V12 comes equipped with Aston's Sportshift automated manual gearbox. Okay, so we're going to start with the Aston Martin. Now, the V12 Vantage is track proven like the GT3. This V12 Vantage has taken part in the Nürburgring 24 hours, so this car has got a track pedigree, and it's been revised now. So it's got the Sportshift gearbox for the first time. It's got adaptive damping, and the engine's been modified so that the torque is lower down in the engine. But there's no mistaking when you get in this car straight away that it's a V12. As soon as you get on the throttle, you've got that unique V12 sound. Now the track's pretty wet, it's been raining all day, it's very low grip, there's hardly any temperature as well, and you can feel there how you've got to be very, very smooth with the throttle in the Aston. You're always managing oversteer in the Aston. If you're too aggressive on the throttle, a lot of wheel spin, you can't just stand on the throttle out to the corners, you've got to be very, very progressive as you get into the power. The torque comes in quite early as well, so again, another reason you've got to be careful. But like all Astons, it's got a really nice front end, very positive on the front end. The problem is, this car just feels a little bit soft at the rear end, even with the adaptive damping. It's just, you don't sense that the rear end is that well tied down, so you feel there's a lot of roll over the rear axle, and it doesn't give you a great sense of confidence when you're sliding or on the power. Again, there you can feel the wheel spin. The car is pretty playful though, so again, with that sort of well-sorted front end, you can sort of balance the car into some quite nice progressive slides like that. So just trying to get some heat into the rear tyres, you can play around and get it sliding. It's a proper muscle car, and you can really get it sliding there and playing around. It's quite tricky today because the grip level's changing like metre by metre because you've got dry patches or wet patches. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how we get on when it comes to getting a lap time in the Aston. So I'm going to come round now after that first lap, smooth it out now and try a flying lap. So starting in second gear to the last corner now, we're going to try and kick some grip across the line here as we come up now to start the flying lap up to third gear, cross the line. I'm down to second here, about 90 on the approach, a little bit squirmy on the brakes as you come into the corner. And again, through these like change of direction, you can feel that slight softness in the rear. I feel like the car's just rolling around the rear axle a little bit, trying to be managing the oversteer as you get on the power. The biggest problem though is this Sportshift gearbox is really quite slow, so there's quite a hesitation between as you shift up a gear. You can try to manage it by just putting a slight lift into the throttle each time you shift, but you don't really want to have to. It's not as good as more modern systems in other cars. It's quite slow, a little bit antiquated, hard on the brakes, a little bit of squirming on the brakes, getting a little bit oversteering on the way in, managing the oversteer on the way out. That's it, bit of a slide, third gear. You're just trying to keep the car fairly balanced again, managing that oversteer on the slippery surface. Again, the gear shift's a bit slow there on the exit. High speed change of direction here. You can feel it working its front tyres quite hard, but very positive on the front end. Down a second. Again, trying not to do too much oversteer, just a little bit too much to be honest, but trying to keep it smooth. And getting a bit of wheel spin and acceleration across the line. So in wet, tricky conditions, the Aston Martin did a lap time of 1 minute 15.7 seconds. But can the Porsche be any faster? Okay, so let's see how the GT3 compares. And thanks to the success of all the previous generations of GT3, there's a massive weight of expectation about this car. It's a big step, the 991 GT3. Obviously, the first thing is we've got PDK gearbox, no manual option, and the classic Metzger engine has gone to be replaced by a more modern engine. But any doubts that the engine would be a disappointment are absolutely blown out of the water the second you accelerate for the first time in this car. It revs to 9,000 RPM. Sort of builds from 3,500 onwards, just a massive crescendo of power all the way up to 9,000. Obviously, and again today, with the track being so damp, we've really got to be careful as you apply on the power, but just listen to that noise as you're accelerating up to 9,000 RPM. Feels quicker in a straight line than the Aston initially. It's got quite an aggressive Pilot Sport tyre, so again, you can feel the wheel spin and the snap oversteer there as you get lighting up the rear wheels in these damp conditions. So it takes a bit of respect, this car. I've obviously got all the stability control turned off. We've got the PDK in its sportiest setting. And unlike other 911s, the really good thing is the PDK won't kick down. So like here in this corner, we can be in third gear and just wait, feed the power in, and it won't kick down a gear. You're in full control of the PDK, which is great. And the shift is so much faster than the Aston. Really, really crisp upshift. Beautiful, brutal downshift. So I've got a bit of heat into the tyres, and let's now come round and try a flying lap in the 911 and see how we're getting on. Also, the track's still really, really greasy, a lot of big puddles coming into the last corner. Second gear, and listen to that engine, 9,000 up to third gear, 79 miles an hour as you go from second to third. Just hooking second here. You can feel the vibration as the front tyres start to scrabble for grip. The change of direction is amazing, brilliant body control. Really stiff, and then a brutal upshift. Fourth gear, just missing the puddle here in the braking zone, hard on the brakes. Brakes are amazing. Bit of ABS action coming in there. Get the wipers on, we've got a big puddle there, which means on the throttle here now you're battling the oversteer there because lighting the rears up over the puddle. Up to fourth gear, hard on the brakes, ABS kicking in, squirming a bit, lots of patchy wet bits, bit of oversteer on the entry. Just trailed the braking a bit there, which is why, you know, as a 911, so if you get that weight to the rear, you will get punished on the way into the corner, so just a little bit of time there, but traction itself is pretty impressive. Once you've got the car out of the standing water, change of direction through there is amazing. Hard on the brakes up to the last corner. Second gear, the turning is just absolutely staggering. Managing the wheel spin on the exit. Back to second. Trying to keep it clean on the exit. Up to third gear and across the line. With soaking wet tarmac and near freezing temperatures, these sports cars have faced the toughest of challenges today. But which one comes out on top? Well, the new 911 GT3 has exceeded our expectations. The engine is astonishing, the chassis is equally capable, and the PDK gearbox has been improved and it's perfectly suited to this type of car. But the Aston's great too. The V12 engine is packed with character, and it has a playful chassis, and there's no doubting how stunning it looks. But against the stopwatch in wet conditions, the Porsche was 1.5 seconds a lap quicker, and in our dry practice laps, it was a full 4 seconds faster than the Aston Martin. But there really isn't any losers here. We're glad that both these sports cars exist, and it's been a privilege to drive them. If you like this film, click on the video windows to watch our Porsche 911 Turbo S track battle, or our review of the Ferrari 458 Speciale. Click the red play icon to watch our latest videos, or the Auto Express logo to subscribe to our channel.